Today, we'll only be answering questions on the proposed bylaws, but we will also be holding our annual general meeting in Barcelona on February 27th, where there'll also be a broader update on our 2017 plans and the chance to ask any other questions you may have to myself or to the board directors. You've been sent the link to the changes to the bylaws by email this morning, and I hope you've had a chance to familiarize yourself with them. As Miranda said, a link is also being shared to the procedure for voting later on, and please do look out for announcements in the chat box during the webinar and throughout. The call will be recorded, as we've said, so we encourage you to go back, of course, to get any answers you may wish to have. And it will also, of course, make the recording available to those who could not attend today. We've provided for reference the last set of bylaws and the original language so that you can see the differences that are being proposed for the amendment. So with that, let's get started. Here you'll see the very diverse set of companies who are engaged in MEF. As most of you will be aware, 2017 is our 17th anniversary. Our industry has evolved beyond what any of us dreamed of when we formed MEF as the Mobile Entertainment Forum in 2000. Today, the word mobile is all but redundant as the platform is at the intersection of consumers' digital lives. MEF members have been at the forefront of this evolution, and as an organization, we too have evolved significantly, both in terms of our remit, but also in terms of geographies and stakeholders. We normally meet you, our members, at key industry events and engage with you via working groups. The focus today is really on MEF as an organization. It's about our goals and how we're governed. The organization has changed profoundly, as I have mentioned. However, our bylaws, the rules and procedures by which we are governed, were written back in 2000. There has been one update since then around specific clauses that were ratified at AGMs as approved by our elected boards. So this is really going to both capture that and propose new changes that the Global Board has in fact put forward. Today we want to take the opportunity to review in full and share with the membership how we're governed as a global trade body and also how you can look to derive further values. You can see the objectives of what we're doing listed here. The impetus for the updates has been the opportunity to introduce strategic partnerships into the organization, which I will take you through today. Practically speaking, we also need to ensure the bylaws are fit for purpose as a way to evolve the organization. So, why is this important to you? Well, we want to continue to evolve the mobile ecosystem opportunity and very much to attract new stakeholders. Importantly, we want to introduce new revenue models and have the flexibility into MEF's funding to continue to invest into areas of strategic importance and deliver ever greater value for our members. Hence, the objectives outlined. MEF's bylaws have undergone significant review with key objectives to align our rules and procedures by which we are governed to current organizational goals and strategy. And here you'll see a listing of the various areas that will be covered today and that are included in the bylaws. So firstly, the MEF's rebranding to Mobile Ecosystem Forum. Secondly, the strategic partnership and board seat appointments that I will take you through. Previous board and AGM decision on points of governance, structure, and titles. A reflection of our current working practice and a clear move to delegate powers originally given to the Annual General Assembly, that's you, the members, to the board and to the executive. So, very exciting and very important is the concept of strategic partnerships. You can see the concept outlined here. And why is this important? So first of all, strategic partnerships are really a representation of a relationship struck with an existing full member to advance a key area of mutual interest to advance the organization and the mobile ecosystem. The benefits for strategic partners are important to note. They will receive high visibility and positioning, thought leadership for specific initiatives, sectors, or regions, influence to steer MEF's agenda to address top-level industry issues. Strategic partners commit to a minimum annual collaboration of focused activities, products, and services that will indeed add value to MEF as an organization and to its members. Importantly, there are therefore benefits to MEF members which will impact all of you. It's really an opportunity for all of us to attract new talent and sectors across the mobile ecosystem into MEF. It also is a way to increase commitment and accountability. Good governance and engagement is key. And what we found is that companies who make the biggest investment into MEF are also traditionally the most engaged members. This will also give us the opportunity for new sustainable revenue streams as an important way to attract key leaders and new verticals. So the Global Board have proposed and approved the following eligibility criteria profile of a strategic partner. Firstly, it's essential that their interests align to MEF's mission and focus area, and that they add important value to MEF through industry expertise. Motivation is really key, and the individual put forward by the company must be motivated personally, but also must be aligned to MEF's mission to contribute to the organization, and they should also have influence over budget within their own organizations. We see strong global partners here and an opportunity to amplify our message and increase the pool of deliverables and relevant activities for all of you as members as a key advantage of strategic partnerships. So if you have questions around this new concept, please send across through the chat box, and we'll look to cover as many as possible at the end, as I've already noted. So moving forward, we have also, with the addition of strategic partnerships, taken the opportunity to review and propose the right composition for the Global Board. A key aspect of strategic partnerships is that they will have the opportunity to propose a board member who will be reviewed by the board, and I'll cover that later. But it also introduces the concept of appointed board seats. So with that, MEF has taken an opportunity to review the composition of the Global Board. So overall, what's being proposed is to increase the size of the board to 21 board seats. Within that, we're proposing 3 different types of seats. The first are permanent seats, and that would be to the CEO, the finance director, and elected regional chapter chairs, all as really vital contributors who also provide continuity to MEF and the Global Board. There will also be elected seats for highly committed directors and appointed seats for those who take on strategic partnerships, subject, of course, to meeting the criteria. Overall, a 50-50 ratio between elected and appointed seats will be maintained. In terms of eligibility of Global Board seats, we've also updated the criteria for elections. This is important, and we are looking to ensure we get demonstrated commitment required for playing such an essential role in the organizations. The criteria can be met by incumbents who've demonstrated tangible contribution, as well as those within MEF who may not have served on a board previously, but have demonstrated leadership in the organization by initiatives or potentially steering committees, just as an example. We also remain committed to having a diverse board of innovators alongside established larger players, hence encourage the inclusion of startups. There's a higher level of participation required for applying for the global board, and individuals who have not served before or who cannot yet demonstrate tangible contributions are very much encouraged to apply to a regional board. So here you can see a summary of the other amendments proposed. They include housekeeping, such as our rebrand, but also a definition of the organizational structure, for instance, introducing a steering committee concept. It's important to note that the Global Board has approved all these amendments to help MEF operate as an agile organization to meet the objectives previously discussed. We won't have time to go through all the clauses here in detail, but we certainly encourage you to review them in full. Details and our bylaws have been provided, and we very much encourage you to take a further look and familiarize yourself before voting. Just wanted to now highlight a couple of key proposed amendments for your review and understanding. Firstly, it's important to note that we've reconsidered the definition of powers between the General Assembly of members, that's you, vis-a-vis the MEF Global Board and the MEF Executive. Practically speaking, the General Assembly meets only once a year and is less involved in the governance, whereas the Global Board actively oversees and engages with the Global Executive. As such, it's proposed that the General Assembly retains the right to change the size of the board and rescind changes of the Global Board as oversight mechanisms. However, when it comes to more extensive analysis and agile decision-making required, the General Assembly would delegate powers to the board for areas like approving the budget and pricing matters as listed here. We've also changed the quorum requirement, which was originally 2/3 of all full members, and have reflected the challenge of having such a high quorum given the geographical spread of our members. This section that Miranda has listed on board composition and duties has already been explained, so I think we can move on. And here we are covering appointed seats, which have already been explained and introduced. We're excited to be able to add diversity and new leadership to the board, which also aligns to our core mission and areas of activity. This slide refers back to the strategic partnership and what happens if an appointed director leaves. Essentially, the company that has taken on the strategic partnership gets to retain the board seat and put forward an alternate for review. The exception being an appointed director who wants to serve and agrees to take on a new strategic partnership. All must be vetted and approved by the Global Board. Proposed updates to the board duties and obligations are listed here and reflect some of the changes already discussed. This slide captures also the UK Companies House Act, under which the Global Board is already working as a UK headquartered company. This just further elaborates the duties that they have taken on and the operating procedures under which MEF is governed. Next slide, please. This slide represents how we work as an organization today via committees of the board and ensures that the Global Board is committed to supporting key areas like driving growth and supporting the organization's marketing goals. It includes updates on roles and responsibilities of these committees. Further to this, the way that MEF runs programs and initiatives has also evolved significantly, and this section explains the selection criteria for evaluation when members put forward new proposals for policy and initiatives. In terms of organizational structure, MEF continues to support regional chapters with local and global resources as needed. At the same time, regional boards have an onus to meet on a quarterly basis as a minimum. Having set up a steering committee for Africa several years ago, we also believe that our members have incredibly strong inputs and knowledge, which we'd like to leverage for building our programs and organization. As such, the steering committee is a flexible instrument which allows us to gather member views and consultations where guidance is helpful for prioritizing our strategy and activity, and also creates an engagement opportunity around areas of common interest. So this clause gives us the opportunity to evolve and utilize steering committees as helpful. Finally, we've removed a clause around honorary board membership for LATAM operators because they now pay to be members of MEF. We've also moved the decision-making on emeritus titles to the Global Board. Finally, we're also providing a more reasonable time frame of 2 working days rather than 2 hours in the initial bylaws to nominate yourself for an election. So far more reasonable for us to operate in this way. So what happens next? So here's some guidance on the voting procedures. Our bylaws allow for distance voting, and we encourage you to take time to review the updated bylaws. We're required to give you 14 days to respond and ask that you cast your vote by February 9th as per the information shared on the screen. The opportunity is open to all full members in good standing, and there will be 1 vote per member company. So please do follow the link and the voting procedures. The current bylaws and the document of the full proposed bylaws have been shared, so please do access those as needed. And now, before I go into the Q&A, I wanted to review our exciting plans for Mobile World Congress, which have significantly expanded this year. So, on February 27th, we will kick off with our annual general meeting and global board elections, and there will be 7 seats that will be open for election. And I encourage all of you who have actively contributed to the organization to consider applying. We'll then follow with a leadership session on building trust in the digital landscape. What's the future of commerce? And we will then go into the ever-exciting MEF Connect Mobile World Congress 2017 in association with Amex. All details on signing up have already been sent for the party, and further details on the global board elections will also be shared shortly. On Tuesday, February 28th, I'm very excited to announce that MEF will be holding workshops at the FIRA, at Mobile World Congress itself. So there are a number of sessions that we are currently finalizing. And these will include one on consumer trust and digital consent, new business models for monetizing mobile access in emerging and developed markets with Fintonic, and growth drivers for enterprise messaging, looking both at the technology and use cases. Importantly, from 5 to 7 p.m., we'll hold a MEF member forum with some exciting speakers to be announced, and we will also take the opportunity to hold regional elections for EMEA and LATAM board elections. So with that, I hope this has been informative. And of course, we would now like to take the opportunity to answer any questions you may have. Thank you very much.